Alzheimer in Britain's African heritage communities. The Alzheimer It's real! 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 In 2026, research continues to show that people of African and African Caribbean heritage in Britain face a significantly higher risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia, compared to the white people of African Caribbean heritage are estimated to be up to 3 times more likely to develop dementia compared to the general population. Individuals from these communities are often diagnosed at a younger age, frequently between 4.5 to 8 years earlier than the general population. While dementia cases in the general population are expected to double by 2051, cases in the Black, African and Caribbean communities are projected to increase 7-fold as levels. The higher prevalence of hypertension or high blood pressure, diabetes, strokes, and cardiovascular disease in Black communities, African communities, contribute heavily to the higher risk of vascular dementia. To reduce dementia risk, focus on a brain-healthy lifestyle. Stay physically and mentally active. Eat a balanced diet, rich in plants, low in saturated fat and sugars. Manage conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. Protect your head. Limit alcohol. Quit smoking. And stay socially engaged. Prioritizing heart health, sleep, and addressing hearing and vision loss also significantly helps to lower your risk of dementia. Exercise regularly. Aim for 150 minutes a week of moderate activity, brisk walking and cycling, plus strength and balance exercises twice weekly to improve heart health and weight. Stay mentally active. Challenge your brain with puzzles, learning new skills, reading, or hobbies. Be social. Maintain strong social connections and engage in group activities to build cognitive reserve. Get quality sleep. Prioritize deep sleep for brain health and memory consolidation. Eat healthy. Focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Limit saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Protect your head. Wear helmets during sports and take precautions to avoid concussions. Limit alcohol. Stick to recommended guidelines under 40 units per week and have alcohol 3 days. Quit smoking. Smoking increases dementia risk especially Alzheimer and vascular dementia. The power is in your hands. Alzheimer in Britain's African heritage communities. The Alzheimer explosion. It's real! 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 In 2026, research continues to show that people of African and African Caribbean heritage in Britain face a significantly higher risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia, compared to the white UK population. People of African Caribbean heritage are estimated to be up to 3 times more likely to develop dementia compared to the general population. Individuals from these communities are often diagnosed at a younger age, frequently between 4.5 to 8 years earlier than the general population. While dementia cases in the general population are expected to double by 2051, cases in the Black, African and Caribbean communities are projected to increase 7-fold by 2051. There could be 45 times as many cases among Black Africans compared to 2001 levels. The higher prevalence of hypertension or high blood pressure, diabetes, strokes and cardiovascular disease in Black communities, African communities, contribute heavily to the higher risk of vascular dementia. To reduce dementia risk, focus on a brain-healthy lifestyle. Stay physically and mentally active. Eat a balanced diet, rich in plants, low in saturated fat and sugars. Manage conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. Protect your head. Limit alcohol. Quit smoking and stay socially engaged. Prioritizing heart health, sleep, and addressing hearing and vision loss also significantly helps to lower your risk of dementia. Exercise regularly. Aim for 150 minutes a week of moderate activity, brisk walking and cycling, plus strength and balance exercises twice weekly to improve heart health and weight. Stay mentally active. Challenge your brain with puzzles, learning new skills, reading or hobbies. Be social. Maintain strong social connections and engage in group activities to build cognitive reserve. Get quality sleep. Prioritize deep sleep for brain health and memory consolidation. Eat healthy. Focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Limit saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Protect your head. Wear helmet during sports and take precautions to avoid concussions. Limit alcohol. Stick to recommended guidelines under 40 units per week and have alcohol 3 days. Quit smoking. Smoking increases dementia risk, especially Alzheimer and vascular dementia. The power is in your hands. Alzheimer in Britain's African heritage communities. The Alzheimer explosion. It's real! 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 In 2026. It most certainly is real. Surprising figures, surprising findings has been resolved around Alzheimer here in Britain, particularly as its impact upon the African heritage communities from the Caribbean, continent, and indeed homegrown. These are quite astounding figures. And in what 45 minutes' time, we'll focus on that issue. It is truly revealing. I'm not going to say inspirational, but of course, it highlights an issue that we are not discussing enough. But of course, this is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. Yeah, we've got another inspirational podcast ahead of you to inform, to empower, to enable you to make good decisions, to motivate you to action. Good actions speak louder than words. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling well. I want to, of course, before I go right into this particular episode of the Motivator Show, thank my past contributors. And I've got to say, our last transmission, I know you would agree, was truly inspirational. Okay, the Igbo people of Nigeria, and I've got to say, the IPOB, the Indigenous People of Biafra organization, they are people of the highest dignity. I've got to say, of the highest dignity. And what we experienced in our last podcast is a woman whose strengths we could see, whose compassion and love for her husband was beyond dispute, and determination to succeed for herself, for her family, and the wider Igbo people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're my kind of human being, determined and resolute, through peaceful means to uphold their dignity. Yeah. I've got to say, I've got to say, well done, well done, well done, well done. And if you haven't watched it, go to the channel. Yeah, it's an outstanding interview. Outstanding. Truly insightful, full of compassion, intelligent, visionary words. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm also bound to mention the previous contributors to the Motivated Show. And I've got to say, this is, we've already just started the year, and the year has already started with a bang, in a way that is just, you've got to remember. I want to say thank you to Kwabena, okay, for his insights into what is happening in respect of Venezuela. Mhm. And the parallels we can draw with the Battle of Adwa, Ethiopia. Okay. And using that knowledge, using that memory, using the skills acquired to ensure Venezuela, Jamaica, Ethiopia, indeed any country, is able to resist imperialist intrusion into their nations. Okay. And even the current imperialist nation, I've got to tell you, is not invincible. It could be argued, just like Rome, that its time is spent. But during this phase of the decline, there are certain events that typically take place. I won't recite them here, but they typically take place. But all I can say to this, a country which is in more than $30 trillion debt and requires the rest of the world to buy its debt in order to maintain solvency is not a country that could consider itself to be the most powerful country in the world. The economics do not work in your favor, sir. And therefore, being humble, mhm, being respectful, mhm, being collaborative may well yield better results than being a bolshy bully across the world. I don't see that happening. 2026 may well prove to be that seminal year. Only time will tell. There you are. There you are. And having said all that, it is nevertheless very clear that the rest of the world are reorganizing and preparing for a post world condition. Watch this space. We will record these events here on the Motivator Show without fear or favor and without distortion. We'll record these events. There you go. There you go. There you go. And now of course, it's important for us now to move forward. In understanding the past, we can better prepare ourselves for the future. Mhm. In understanding the past, we can better prepare ourselves for the future. There you are. Okay. This phase of the process requires you also, yes, you, to study, to read, to consider, to, to dialogue with others around you. So you are able to take advantage of the opportunities that the future will offer to you. It's over to you. The power is with you. As we say in the intro video, the power is with you. But you've got to believe it. That's the first stage, self-belief. Reparations begins with self. There you are. There you are. Without further ado, what I'm going to do right now, go right into the next phase of this episode. And I'm going to take this phase slightly earlier than usual, and that is our lifestyle messages. If it's been brought home to us very recently, these past few days, in preparing for this podcast and addressing the issue of Alzheimer and dementia across the communities, it is absolutely clear that many of these conditions are related to our lifestyle and what we eat. Mhm. This will come out in the interview. You'll see in 40 minutes' time. In fact, 25 minutes' time. Mhm. It will come out in the interview. It will be clearly apparent. It is in your hands to define your general health and well-being. Mhm. Very important lesson for us all to acquire if it's required. Okay, it is in our hands because we're in this together. We are truly in this together. So the lifestyle messages are intended to communicate straightforward messages which health professionals are trained to understand, and they treat us here, the general public, because of lack of knowledge or awareness. They attempt to teach us, but majority of us are just very resistant to this new knowledge. You know, because it interferes with our current lifestyle, how we live our lives. You don't want the inconvenience. And we get it. We get it. Challenge, of course, is that if we don't take care of ourselves, others have to take care of us. Mhm. So we place that responsibility on others. Would it not be better if you take control, you take responsibility for your health and well being? These messages are here to empower you to make sound decisions. And we hope, that you can do so. Mhm. It's only a few minutes, 2 3 minutes. I want you to listen to the professor, a person who's devoted his entire life to studying our health and well being. A professor. Okay. Listen to his words.
because his advice is really very straightforward, common sense advice, which most of us here can resolve for ourselves. But we need it to be heard again and again to remind ourselves what we need to do in order to maintain good health and well-being. And why are we so preoccupied with health and well-being here on the Motivator Show? Well, if we don't help each other to take care of ourselves, you're not going to be around that long enough to help us to grow. Yeah, as simple as that. There's a self-interest, mutual interest. And besides, if we can maximize the numbers of people who are healthy and happy across the world, we completely transform the background atmosphere. A species that amongst its members are able to have compassion for each other, mhm, and take care of each other is a species that will grow and go a long way. Mhm. Yeah, we'll be able to harness the incredible potential that is the human being. Not a particular ethnicity, yeah, the human species. We are but one race. There are not many races, one race. Imagine harnessing the entire potential of our species and not allowing a few people to hold all the wealth, all the influence, and as a consequence, to have members of our species dying for lack of clean water, food, lack of shelter. How barbaric is that? Huh? An alien would observe us and think we're pretty stupid. Indeed, we are pretty stupid to allow such a situation. We can and we must do better. The motivator shows here to help us all to do better. These lifestyle messages, therefore, are for you. There's no charge. No charge. They're just for you. So observe and you tell us what you think about these lifestyle messages. These messages from the professor. Listen to what he has to say.
Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health.
Did that not make sense? Complete sense to you? Yep, that is straightforward 5 levels of advice. Very straightforward advice. And it is remarkable. Even myself, we simply fail at it at times, you know? But we work together. Remember that we are interconnected, not dependent, we're interconnected. And that interconnectedness gives us a certain amount of real power over each other to help us all to do better, to promote good health and well being, good mental and physical health, spiritual health. That has got to be worthwhile. It's got to be worthwhile. Just a few minutes in these podcasts to remind ourselves of our lifestyle messages. And I'm heartened by the numbers of you who's heard these messages, heard, responded, it has come together with others in common aim and common purpose, have understood if we work together, we can build a much bigger, healthier world. And in doing so, we make ourselves better our entire species better. That has got to be the way ahead. What I want to show you now are examples of a group of people who've come together in common aim and common purpose, understanding that their health is their highest wealth. It's only 2 minutes, but these 2 minutes are powerful 2 minutes of what is possible if we work together as a community. Watch this space. If in doubt, ask questions. Yeah. That's right. Let's spread our wings. Let's stretch our legs. Stretch our legs. That's right. I put sitting down. There you are. That's right. Just 1 minute. That's right. That's right. That's right. Stretch your arms. Stretch your arms. That's right. There we go. It's only a minute or so. There you are. Let's spend a minute to exercise together. That's right. Let's exercise together just for a minute or so. There you are. There you are. There you are. That's right. Keep it up. Keep it up. You've got it. You've got it. Lift your knees up. Lift your knees up. That's right. I see you. You've got it. That's right. There you are. You've got it. There you are. That's right. You've got it. That's right. Oh, Brother Ishmael. There you are. This is what we need to do each day. Just for a few minutes. Makes all the difference. You have it. That's right. You've got it. Stretch your arms up. Last 15 seconds. There you go. I'll pause there, shall I? Well done, each one of you. At least you attempted to stretch your arm, pull up your arm. There you are. That's right. Oh, all right. You not feel better for that? Just a few minutes. That's what we need to do. The sedentary lifestyle, where we sit down for extended period of time, is extremely harmful to our bodies. Okay, we are natural hunter gatherers, workers. We work. Those muscles require us to use them. If we don't use them, we lose them. Just like our brain, we don't use it, we lose it. Alzheimer. And we'll get to that later on. And it really is a powerful message for us. Why we spend here on the Demotivator Show just a few minutes devoted to lifestyle messages to impress upon us all why it's important to think about our lifestyle, what we do to contribute to promoting good health and well-being, both physical, mental, and spiritual health. Okay, vitally important. We want you to think about it. We want you to be around in 120 years' time. Yes, it's possible. It's up to us to make that decision that we want to. There you are. Well, and well done to each one of you who at least tried, and those of you who participated fully, well done. Good for you. Good for you. But if you're in South London, a group of people you've just seen who've been exercising for us in most of these episodes. They're based here in South London. They're a wonderful group of people who've come together in a common aim and common purpose, who've understood working together, people from diverse backgrounds working together around a common theme, health and well-being, can be truly transformative. Why not join them if you're here in London? If only for a day, come and meet them, exercise together. It will make all the difference. And the justification for these podcasts would have been solidified because you've been motivated to come together in common aim and common purpose. I put their details on the screen. They meet every Monday and Wednesday between 6:30 and 8 p.m. They're based at 12 Tatum Street. That's London, SE17 1TN. Their email address is countdown0405@gmail.com. There's even a telephone number. If you're in the UK, you put the 0. If you're outside, it's +44 7960803. I commend these group of people who come together in common aim and common purpose. A special shout out to Ishmael, you saw him there at the front, leading his troop. Wonderful. That is dedication to the cause. Well done, well done. Keep up the good works. I know there are many other exercise groups who've sprung up right across Britain and Europe as a result of these podcasts. Keep up the good work. Working together, collaborating in this way is a positive step forward for humanity. You might not realize that, but it's positive for humanity. Yeah. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Having said that, of course, it is this idea of collaboration, cooperating with people is so vital. Okay. That was an example you just see. People come together, common aim and common purpose. But as you know, this is the Motivator Show. Therefore, we have a number of campaigning issues around which we are committed, and they continue to expand the numbers. Okay. In the previous episode, we referred to the Igbo people of uh, of Nigeria. Okay, although I say well call that name, by the way, I've said it anyway. Okay, and their desire for at least greater autonomy, if not independence. Okay, so that the boundaries, the borders that's been imposed upon them can be lessened. Mhm. Because of course the carve up of the continent of Africa has still left significant scars we're more than capable of resolving, but requires determined intellect, determination with compassion to resolve. We're more than capable of resolving them, despite external and other influences. Okay? I did need to cite that, and I can only hope that the Nigerian government will see sense and release. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Namdi Mazi Kanu should release him. Release him. Release him. That makes perfect sense. You want peace and harmony, prosperity for all. Release him. Allow the people to find their own path. Release him. Absolutely. You met his wife. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, all great people. There's great people find great people, right? There's no one behind. Great people find great people. Oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. Release him, release him. Having said that, of course, a Pan Africanist view, of course, is for greater African unity. And it is important, first of all, that the harm of the past are corrected so that we can find a whole for the future. Mhm. This new configuration is what will be the Pan Africanist dream. Current borders are wholly inappropriate. The names of many of the countries are wholly inappropriate. They must, forgive me, they will change. Reparations begins with self. Praise Jah, Rastafari. I'm confident of the future. I'm so enthusiastic for the future. Many will try to knock you down, I'm assuring you. But we are indomitable. Huh? There you go. There you go. We, of course, here at the Motivator Show are devoted to compassionate campaigns. Okay. One of our campaigns we've given particular light to is a campaign around FGM. And some of you will recognize the terminology and that female genital mutilation. It was brought to my attention because a number of women confided in me that this had happened to them, and they recited to me what is it, the consequences, which is for them a lifetime consequences. Mhm. I know still in many of our societies across the continent, it is considered to be a ritual that takes you into womanhood, as it were. And I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I'd love to speak to the traditional leaders. I must just want to now speak to men on this subject. Because if the evidence that I've gathered, look, it's less than 100 women, admittedly, it's less than 75. Yeah. But it's more than 70 women who I've spoken to. I need to speak to more, admittedly. Okay, that's true. I admit that. But if there's any indication that this initial sample is correct of its harmful physical and psychological impacts, then we all need to get behind this campaign to see its eradication. And I know there's some certain people there who are concerned that this is part of culture and tradition. Okay, and I have to wonder. I've put a call out on a number of occasions. I particularly want to speak to men who are in support of FGM, female genital mutilation, and the term. And as you dissect the term, it is exactly what I've described. Mhm. I have to say that I have sisters. I could not, in all consciousness, allow my sisters to go through such a process. I could not. Knowing that we'll literally mutilate them, cut off a part of their bodies, a most intimate part of their bodies. I could not. And I would not keep quiet. I say again, I will not keep quiet. And those of you who understand the purpose of the Motivated Show, okay, who understand why we cannot and will not be quiet. So I want to put this area, I'll put it on the screen for you. I want to refer to you to a courageous woman who I know very well, a former mayor of the London Borough of Southwark here in Britain, okay? Councillor Naima Ali. She is the founder of Unshackled Duma. Unshackled Duma is a Southwark-based organization that empowers women and girls, particularly from Black, Asian, and so-called minority and Muslim communities. The organization focuses on promoting self-empowerment, autonomy, and advocacy, with a strong emphasis on combating female genital mutilation, FGM. It raises awareness about its harmful effects, supports survivors, and works towards eradicating the practice. I urge all right-thinking men and women who are viewing and listening to this podcast to get behind this campaign. Let our women no longer have to suffer this indignity. The email address you wish to reach out to this remarkable human being, Councillor Naima Ali, is as follows: unshackled Duma, followed by digit 2 at gmail.com. There it is on the screen. unshackleduma, followed by digit2 at gmail.com. I commend this initiative to you. Okay. We've been led by a remarkable human being. Okay. I'm fortunate these past few weeks to be able to say that word repeatedly. Well, the women I encounter are just remarkable human beings. Absolutely remarkable. Please give support to that campaign. Wherever you encounter it, let's see it stopped so that women no longer have to become survivors of FGM, or so called the cut. There you go. The second of our campaigns, again, this is the Motivator Show. We very much a campaigning podcast, a campaigning channel. Okay. It's one that some of you will understand and appreciate. One that we gave light to and have been given light to more recently, following this awful, extremely dangerous hurricane that has befallen the Caribbean countries. In 2024, Hurricane Beryl impacted the Caribbean islands, impacted Jamaica and other islands. In 2025, Hurricane Melissa. Just to be clear, Hurricane Beryl was a category 4, which is bad enough, yep, and that's about 100 or so miles an hour. Hurricane Melissa was a category 5 with winds up to 185 miles an hour. My gosh. If we had 185 miles an hour winds in London, London would be absolutely devastated. It would cause tens of billions of pounds, indeed dollars, worth of damage. Tens of billions. Okay. A small island like Jamaica has suffered 2 super hurricanes in successive years. And if there was a third hurricane this year, it would be truly devastating for the economy, for the people. And as a consequence of this more recent hurricane, there are still hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people who are living from hand to mouth. Their lives have been devastated by this super hurricane, which is caused by climate change as a result of the Industrial Revolution started here in Britain, spread across Europe and the Americas and Japan, and released atmospheric warming gases, carbon dioxide, yep, into the atmosphere, and is warming up the atmosphere. Consequence that the water, the seas are being warmed up, and that's even aggravating the atmosphere even more so, which is resulting in these super hurricanes. Why am I spending time on this? Because I've had time between the last podcast to speak to people in Jamaica whose lives remain devastated, totally devastated. Yes, we've been sending resources to Jamaica, but to get through to the right people, that's the challenge. I don't want to criticize the government of Jamaica. I'm not going to do that here. I'll let others do that. Okay. But I am concerned of the time it's taking to get vital resources, particularly to public buildings such as schools and hospitals and so on. There's an organization here, PINP UK, which has now devoted itself to bringing back into use some of these public buildings and a particular school we're going to focus on. In our last podcast, I played a video by the principal of one of the so-called elementary basic schools in Jamaica, which was devastated. The roof was taken off, and the children therefore could not go to school. And even today, the building is in a semi-dilapidated state, but they're trying to make do. We here, with all the resources, can, and we should, if I assert, help. This is not caused by the island of Jamaica. Jamaica emits between 0.002 or 1%. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I'm going to play a short video, it's only a minute or so, for the principal of the basic schools, elementary schools in Jamaica, which is devastated by Hurricane Melissa, who's operating the most uncomfortable position for and our most uh, precious children are suffering as a result. I'm going to play her appeal. Listen keenly and open your hearts.
Everyone, I am Lexia Lewis Hines, principal of the New Building Early Childhood Institution in New Building, Nain, St. Elizabeth. We were adversely affected by the passing of Hurricane Melissa on October 28, 2025. And as such, we lost our school roof, we have lost furniture, books, and other learning materials for our young ones. I am hereby making a plea asking for any contribution that can be given to assist us in further renovating our school building so that our students can return to some semblance of normalcy. We have already received some donations and we're able to cover half the roof. The other half is patched up with the old zinc that was there from before. And as such, any contribution is an investment in our young ones, the future generation. And so this is my plea asking for any contribution that can be given in assisting us to be better able to facilitate our young students. Thank you so very much.
On behalf of PNP UK, we hope you would agree that this school needs to be rebuilt so that the children can enjoy the teaching and learning experience. Support the Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund to build back better the school. Send your donation, whatever you can afford, to PNP UK. That's at NatWest Bank, sort code 600802, account number 2986123, and in the bank reference, please quote DRF Melissa. Thank you for considering. Thank you for your donations.
I think you would all agree that is a worthwhile venture of PNP UK to bring this public building back into use so the babies, our children, can go back to school and enjoy that teaching and learning experience. I cannot think of anything better. Okay. Whatever you can afford, please do not give what you cannot afford, what will overstretch you. Please, please. Only what you can afford. Okay. And we will ensure that every penny is accounted for. And you can tell by that principle, she'll make sure. She will make sure. Yeah. And of course, I'm sure the community there will respond to us and just show you us all what the resources have been spent on bringing that school back into full use again. You've seen the devastation caused by Super Hurricane Melissa. And for those of you who are able to contribute, thank you. Those of you who are thinking about it, keep thinking about it. At least you're considering it. And those who are unable to, that is fine. That is fine. You can't do everything. But those of you who can, you are truly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. I know members of PNP and others are committed to this cause. I honor and respect them. Praise be. Praise be to them. Praise be. Yeah? Praise be. And long may they continue their tremendous work. Thumbs up to you all. Thumbs up. Well said. Well said. So that's what about campaignings? And it's you can understand it's a campaign that will make a material difference to the youngest lives in our communities. I also now want to refer to campaigns here in the UK, because islands like Jamaica and others who are suffering the consequence of these super hurricanes should be supported by wealthier countries who clearly have got much deeper pockets. Okay. There is an issue, of course, with Britain. I love Britain. I live here. I love Britain. Okay. But look, we open our hearts to the people of Ukraine. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Can we not do the same for the people of Jamaica? Okay. The government here made a contribution, I believe it was 7 million or so. I want to be polite here. I'm going to be polite. I know we could do more. This country can do more. As a nation, we could do more. Okay. I want to give light to a campaigner here. His name is Lee Jasper, who's highlighted these issues here in the public forum. Okay. Lee and I are going to organize some further meetings. We're going to have further discussions. He's appeared here on the Motivator Show to discuss these issues in the broadest terms. Okay. I'm going to play a short excerpt from a video he shared with us about his effort to raise the issue of support for islands like Jamaica, who've been devastated by these super hurricanes for no reason of their own. Okay. Listen and watch. It's only a minute. Just watch this. It is worthwhile watching. It is worthwhile. A compassion for humanity is what you hear in this transmission.
Hey family, my name's Lee Jasper. I'm a veteran activist here from London, England. And I just want to talk about Hurricane Melissa and the British government and the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's response to that hurricane. Family, look, Jamaica and areas of the Caribbean are on its knees. People are desperate, homeless, unable to access medical supplies and treatment. Children are left homeless because their grandmother's house has been completely obliterated. People are unable to go to school. People have no valid forms of employment. And all Britain can offer is £7 million. I mean, it's a disgusting insult to the Jamaican community. And we should be very clear in terms of what our response should be. I'm not sure what we're supposed to say, but thank you to Keir Starmer for 7 million change. I could find more change down the back of this sofa than Starmer seems to have found for Jamaica. And just imagine, people, we spent 20 billion on war for the Ukrainians, 20 billion, and we opened our doors, as we should have done, to victims of war who needed a safe evacuation. But we have exactly the same scenario with people in Jamaica and other areas of the Caribbean, whereby they're homeless, they've got no form of valid long-term employment, they're living on emergency package. Those of us who are in the United Kingdom, who have relatives throughout the Caribbean, should be able to relax our humanitarian visa laws and bring them here so they can have quiet, convalescent and respite, care and attention from their families here in the United Kingdom, whilst Jamaica is rebuilding and they can return after that. So we're calling for two things, family, and need your 100% support on this, because once all the Christmas and the emergency stuff has died away, Jamaica is still going to be in a problem, and probably even a bigger problem if the rumoured health outbreaks and epidemics break out as a consequence of lack of sanitation and clean water. And so I'm calling on you to support our petition. You might be able to see the QR code there if I just move to the side. Here is the QR code. Hope it's visible. If not, maybe I can make it more visible. Here is the QR code. All you have to do is put that into your phone and sign the petition. We also have done one meeting in Brixton. We're doing another in Tottenham Hale, and we're having another hurricane emergency meeting in Wales, Manchester, as well as Preston. And why are we doing this, family? Because we think we need a national lobby of Parliament on Prime Minister's Question Time to take 5,000, 6,000 of us to Parliament to press the Prime Minister and your individual MP to increase aid to Jamaica, as Dawn Butler's already written in The Guardian to that effect, and we're fully supportive and behind that. To talk to your Prime Minister and MP and lobby them to relax the visa control. How is it that an 8-year-old child whose parents live in the United Kingdom and who was living with her grandmother in Jamaica is denied visa entry on humanitarian grounds to the United Kingdom? But that's what the latest stories we're seeing coming out of The Guardian and other news outlets. So we need a national lobby. Give Jamaica much more aid, 7 million, make that 50 million. How about that? How we make it 50 million pounds next year that the UK government gives to Jamaica to recover. Humanitarian visa restriction? Yes, so that we can give people respite. Because our family, they're our community. And we're here suffering the anxiety of not knowing we can help, but we can't get them into the country. So I'd ask you to support our call on the Prime Minister to increase aid and relax visa applications. And finally, family, this is going to happen every year with increasing intensity. So Britain and the West, as the major polluters, must pay recompense for climate justice in those countries, or else otherwise, 2 hurricanes of Melissa's size in over a period of 18 months, as we saw with Beryl and Melissa, would just leave the island completely unsustainable and devastated. Britain must pay more. Britain owes more. Jamaica helped build this country, and they're giving us 7 million. Take it. And I'm asking you to organise mobilising meetings in your local community area so we can take thousands of our community in the new year to the Houses of Parliament to lobby on behalf of our people who are struggling in Jamaica. Thank you.
And thank you, Lee. No, thank you, Lee. Well said. Well said. And I hope those of you who've got your phones, you're able to click onto that QR code and sign the petition. It will announce in not too distant future details so that we can all go to Parliament to advocate for those islands who've been devastated by these super hurricanes, the source of which are of no fault of their own. Well done, Lee. Well done, Lee. We'll keep campaigning around this. It's an important issue. It's now time for us to address the issue of the day for this podcast. And this is, again, a piece of research, which whenever I do these research, you think one is well informed, you believe one is well informed, okay? But with every podcast, I'm surprised what I uncover. I'm surprised at the facts. When I interrogate the fact, it's sure they withstand interrogation. They are true. Dementia, Alzheimer is on the rise. Yep. Here in the West, it's on the rise. And what is clear is that Alzheimer is not specifically on the rise because we're living longer. It's on the rise because of specific actions or chemicals that we're ingesting that is having an impact on the quality of our lives. Mhm. The food industry has a great deal to answer for. We, of course, have to take responsibility by looking and considering carefully what we eat, mhm, and ensuring that we exercise. This is why lifestyle messages are an integral part of our podcast. Mhm. But what is really clear on this particular subject is the social impact of Alzheimer's on our families, our communities, our neighborhood, the countries that are impacted. It is pretty deep and it is quite profound. Mhm. Why, of course, here on the Motivator Show, we must discuss it. Mhm. I know some people want the entertainment. I could do a bit of entertainment. I could sing occasionally. I think we need to be clear that singing is great, but actions speak louder than words. Mhm. So we want to bring to you information that enables you to make good decisions, both yourself, your family, and support others as well. The interview you're about to experience is an interview around a single family and the principal carer in that family. Okay. You're going to see that at point I was almost overwhelmed by the compassion that this person, this great man, displayed. Ordinary man is great, absolutely great. Mhm. There's there's a great deal I learned from him. He doesn't realize this. I learned from him. Yes, I studied of what we mean by dementia, the spectrum, and indeed what is, of course, Alzheimer. Yes, I did all that. But the human factor, the human factor, and what you're going to see in a few moments is the human factor. Oh, yeah. For a son and his love for his mother. Oh, it is it's such a compassionate interview. It's one that will resonate with me for many years to come. And I'll tell you more about it after I'll play maybe an hour of this, but I'm assuring you this will be one that you should not miss. This is one that you should, if you've got a pen and paper or ability to make notes, please take notes. This will be truly a rewarding experience. This is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action because success is ours for the taking. Watch this interview. It's the Motivator here. This is where we translate our words into actions and where success is ours for the taking. I've got another inspirational podcast ahead of us. Today, we're going to address an issue within the communities, one that we, again, do not talk about enough. We don't discuss enough. And that's the issue of Alzheimer and its impact upon the communities. As we get older, it's becoming far more prevalent in the communities. But I'm told by the experts, Alzheimer is not related to age. That's what I'm told by the expert. It is a neurological condition that's become prevalent in the communities, but it's not age related. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? But today we're going to address the issue not from a clinical point of view, but by its impact on the community. And we have a great man. I'm going to say a great man. You will agree with me at the end of this interview why I say a great man who has devoted his time to caring for his mother, who has Parkinson's and indeed has Alzheimer. Mhm. I personally, as I explained to him prior to this interview, do not encounter many men who are carers. Mhm. And I most certainly am not encountering many men from my community who are carers. But he's getting ready to put me right on this, and my observations are somehow not right, okay? But I'm going to let him introduce himself. Please, sir, can you say your name, the organization, and going to allow me some frivolity here. I'm going to ask you to share with the audience, just so they can get to know you, a poignant moment, a happy moment that occurred to you in 2025. So, introduce yourself.
Bless, and thank you very much for having me. Right, my name's Aston. Aston. I'm a presenter on Galaxy Radio. I'm also a member of the Black Father Support Group as well. And I do support the Alzheimer's Association as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done. Okay. Tell us about a poignant moment, a happy moment that really marked 2025 for you.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Happy moment.
Mm.
I think little things, right? For me, getting to know my nephew, right? Um, who who I was introduced to only recently. My brother only revealed him recently,
Ooh. Okay.
and
Okay.
um, he's very guarded over his children and introducing them to the family and everything else. But like, just to have that spark of like, wow, there's that
Yeah.
future, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm very much into what's going to be happening in the future, and
Yes.
being part of it as well. You know,
Oh.
yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
that's
cl- that is
wonderful.
that's close to me. So yeah, I think that's
That's
that's the most.
absolutely wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, 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 being
You
introduced
see,
to them.
I've, you know what? I didn't expect you to say that. You know, I'm going to do this. Forgive me for doing this now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
That's
wonderful.
that's you know,
Absolutely wonderful.
when I say I appreciate life. I really do embrace the opportunity of just living. So
Good for you.
that's one of my fortes. I think in that way. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I know you're from the Caribbean. That's right. You're from the Caribbean.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. Where in the Caribbean are you from?
Right. My parents, both my mother and father, from St. Thomas, Jamaica. Yeah. So
Oh, St. Thomas. Eh. Which part of St. Thomas you from?
right, my parents come from Duckensfield and Springfield in
Wow.
St. Thomas, Jamaica. So it's right on the back end of St. Thomas there.
Eh.
Mm.
So we could be family. Oh my gosh.
Everybody, listen. You have to wait. You have to realize, right?
Hey.
Anybody from St. Thomas is
Yes.
cousin,
Yes.
or brother, sister. We
It is
may not live
true.
in the same house or whatever, but we're
Mm.
all the same.
Yeah.
You
All
understand,
interrelated. Yeah. Yeah. It is
right?
true. It's true.
Trust me,
It is
trust
true.
me.
Well,
What?
maybe another time we can delve
No, no.
further into
What,
that.
let me tell you something. I never grew up with my father, right?
Okay. Yes.
And one day we was there in Jamaica, and
Hmm.
we was just out for the evening, and we just happened to just all be standing there. We all just happened to be
Hmm.
standing, and then his wife pointed out to me, "You stand just like your father," right? And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we was exactly the same pose and relaxed position.
Oh.
It was like we was twins,
Wow.
right? But the thing is that a St. Thomas man will always see a next St. Thomas man, and and we know
We
who
know
we
each
are.
other. We know each other. Yes, it's true.
We have that characteristic about us,
That's true.
Yeah,
I hear you and I feel you. We
yeah.
need to talk. This is true. Uh,
Yeah.
of course, Jamaica have recently been devastated by Hurricane Melissa.
It
Is your
has, yes,
family safe? Your family safe?
yes. Very fortunately, it was potentially going to be one of the major hitting points, and then it
Mhm.
moved further
Yes.
down the coast, right? But I'm very fortunate and blessed to say that my family had very minimal damage on their properties,
Okay.
and as to their health and well-being, yes,
Mhm.
thankfully they're doing well at the moment.
All right.
Obviously, they're getting the backlash of the financial um,
Yes,
aspects of it
definitely.
all, but
Yes.
that's how the cookie crumbles right now.
Yeah.
And then like in most things, it will pass. It will
It
pass,
will pass.
and
Well,
and it will.
we had Beryl last year, which was
Mhm.
bad enough, in St. Elizabeth. Manchester, and so on.
Mhm.
And again, now we had Minister this year. We can only
Mhm.
hope that we don't have a third years of a major
Well,
hurricane, but that would be
you know,
terrible.
I've always said, and I've been saying to my brother who resides there, right, that they really need to make the structures there now
Yeah, or homes, yes. Hmm.
fit for purpose,
Yeah,
fit for purpose.
yeah,
And there's no reason why they cannot, because
indeed.
and I said it tongue in cheek, but I said if a man can make a house out of ice, right,
Yeah,
and go through all those inclement weather, I goes, you lot can do better than what you're doing right now.
it is true. It is
Yeah.
true. It is true. It is a subject for another podcast. We need to look at structures
Mm,
in a Caribbean island, most certainly in Jamaica, and it's one
yeah.
for us to discuss. But for today's podcast, of course,
Mhm.
we want to address the issue of Alzheimer within the communities. Okay, now I use the word communities plural. Okay, not just the Black African Caribbean communities here in Britain, communities across the board. Okay, but I've noticed it's on the rise. Figures show
Yes,
it's actually on the
definitely
rise.
is. It definitely
It's on the
is.
rise.
Definitely
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Um, Now, your mother has been diagnosed with the condition. Okay. All right. At that point at which she was diagnosed, I know she's
Mm,
also from Parkinson's. Okay.
wow.
What was
Mm.
the support around her prior to your
I
intervention? What was
I
the
would say
support
that
around
my her physician doctor
her? Hmm.
was very very good, very
Okay.
observant, right? And she pointed out to her that I think that you have the early onset of Alzheimer's, right? And my mother, a very accomplished person, being a creative in her nature, an artist, right? Yeah, yeah, she's an artist, photographer,
Right.
seamstress, right? Very active. To be told something like that, right?
Mm.
She was kind of like, how can you see this? And then
Okay.
over a period, I would say over a period of like 3 to 4 years, the
Hmm.
debilitation really onset onto her, you know. But the doctor, and I would have to give full commendations to the doctor that she had, and that she was able to really give her the support and
Okay.
regular checkups that was necessary at the time, you know,
Hmm.
leading up to the condition that she has even now.
Okay. So you were fortunate that the doctor identified it being likely an early on case
Mm,
of Alzheimer early on.
yes.
And then what happened once it was diagnosed? What does that mean in practice in terms of the NHS, the National Health Service here in Britain, which
But
is a publicly funded service? Yeah,
what they did with mother, they gave her a series of tests,
right.
right? Um, and through there was like the obviously the the results from that, they were able to give her like a category of, like, how far and how quick the onset may be, right? Fortunately, the time what they said, well, within a few years that she may have this, she probably doubled that anyway. And I put that down to our way of um of our own health regimes that we were actually having, so, drinking the herb teas,
Right. Yeah.
cleansing the body and everything else. So it sort of like delayed the onset of that, you know, to actually, and obviously, there's always these things of, oh, we can take different herbs or eat certain foods or certain type of lifestyle, exercise and everything else. And even though even though those things are available, right? But if you don't have those things in your own routine, then
Right.
obviously, I feel that it's the old adage of if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Got to keep using your brain. If you stop studying, if you stop really using your brain, pushing it,
right.
then it's just like any muscle, it can
That's
atrophy. Yes.
that's
Okay.
right. So
Thank you
so
for that. Thank you for that good summary. That's very helpful. Very helpful to us.
mhm,
So the in terms of support for you for your
mhm.
mother, that was people coming into your home and helping with little things, or. Mhm.
No. We
Mhm.
have to take we had to take the initiative ourselves. You know.
Okay.
So even with that, it was kind of like just having being around her, ensuring that her safe she was doing things in safety, you know.
Right.
Like even when she was like at the time when she was diagnosed, she was still cooking and things like this. But we just had to be cautious as to how she was doing or going about her day, type of thing. And
Hmm. Okay.
mm,
All right.
yeah.
So, in other words, you release the support. Um, I was amazed when I looked at some of the stats on Alzheimer. So, first of all,
Mhm.
Alzheimer sits as a part one of the conditions as part of the general dementia. Dementia being that broader term, okay, which Alzheimer sits in it. Okay, and according to the NHS, in February 2023.
Mhm.
438,000 people had
Yeah.
recorded dementia in the UK. All right, that's
Mhm.
interesting. In June 2024, 487,000 people had
Yes.
recorded dementia. Now, here we go. In May
Mhm.
2025, 495 to 506,000 people
Yes.
had
Yes.
recorded dementia. So
Understandably, yeah,
over,
understandably so.
yeah,
Understandably so. And the thing is that I feel that there are many more who haven't been
undiagnosed.
correctly
Undiagnosed.
diagnosed, right? Mainly because they're delaying. It's like when are you going to give in and go and get those pair of glasses?
Yes, it is true.
You
Yes,
understand?
yes, it's true.
And unfortunately, right? That is how our society looks on it and is handling it,
Mm,
right? If you're not willing to go out there and get a proper diagnosis, right,
yeah,
and then put things in place that you
yes,
can do, right, to help, right, and I emphasize help, right, that this figure is going to be a
right.
misrepresentation of the real situation.
I just point out to you then, Aston, that according to the NHS, our National Health Service here, of
Hmm.
the figures I've just quoted, around 60 to 70% of that figure, let's just take the last figure I quoted, the 495 to 506,000 people who were diagnosed with recorded dementia. Of that,
Hmm.
between 60 to 70% of those dementia cases will be people with Alzheimer. In other words, around 350,000 people. And that's only
Yes.
in this year.
Yes.
These are terrifying figures. These are
That's
terrifying
right.
figures. Uh, and I needed to put that into context for the audience to appreciate that this is a clear and present danger and one
Hmm.
that we need to discuss without a shadow of a doubt why Aston is here. Okay. Aston is really here because I mentioned earlier on that the support for carers now becomes important because it's quite obvious that the NHS, our National Health Service, could not
Hmm.
provide the intimate
No.
physical support for every one of those persons because
No.
the cost is just outlandishly high. Okay, and therefore it is going to require the family to rally round. So before I ask about anything else, I want to find out from you, Aston, and forgive my bluntness. What's so special about you? You're a man, physically able. Why on earth are you a carer? Why on earth would you do that? You know, have you not got brothers and sisters or whatever? Come on now. Why are you the
Okay,
carer?
I,
Why are
I
you the
have
carer?
I have half siblings, right? But
Okay.
they're not of my immediate family.
Not your.
I'm the only child
Ah,
of my mother. Okay,
I understand.
and I've been very, 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 and I'm going to put my foundation and I'll put it out there like this. I've been very, very blessed to have had a mother like who I've had, who's shown me
Wow.
love, respect in that way,
Yeah.
and I reciprocate that. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
and in that way, there, I feel it's not an obligation as such, but an honor to actually be able to do this for her in that way,
Love.
you know,
Love.
right?
Well said. Well said.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Oh
So like,
no! I'm going to do something even more silly now. I'm giving you a reaction. Where is it? Where's my reaction? There we are. And there we are. My
come
reactions are coming up now. Oh, come
on,
on now.
uh,
Oh yeah.
right,
We need to, I want to see more of these hearts. More of these hearts. Give me more of these hearts. Come on, more of these hearts. There you are. Oh
uh,
yeah. That's
no, no,
compassion.
but
Real compassion.
yeah, it's
Go on.
it's it's a case of that. There are many of us, many of us, right, who would be willing
Mm,
to do this if they have the support, and I emphasize support, right?
mhm.
I made the decision to become my mother's main carer in that way, mainly because of just holding her dignity in and who she is to me. Also my respect for her in that way there to say, look, I want I want my mother to have the best of quality of life that is affordable for her, right?
Yes.
And also to be around us for as long as is possible, you know.
Those hearts mean a lot. Trust me. That's what I
No,
just to say to you.
no,
No,
dude,
no, son.
no, dude,
Hey, it's
no,
wonderful. No more hearts for you. No more. No, yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Well said. Well said. Well said. So you made that decision to do
yes,
that for
yes,
your mother, to
yes.
reciprocate the love, affection, devotion, sacrifices that she made for you.
Mm, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely right, and absolutely right. Okay.
Mm,
Upon making that decision, I've got
hmm.
to ask you. I will get to your mother, but I will just talk about you for the moment. So, what did you give up?
Right. I had a full-time job. I was a vehicle engineer, worked for
Hmm.
Ford Motor Company. So I was a highly skilled individual. I literally was traveling around the world, right?
Hmm.
In new vehicles into the various plants around wherever there was a Ford plant. I probably had worked there, type of thing.
Yes.
I did
Okay.
that for a period of over 30 years. You know,
30 years. Oh my gosh, you gave that up. Oh,
yes, yes. But I was fortunate. It
I
was
need to
very
give you.
fortunate.
I need to give you more heart. I need to give you. Keep giving you more heart. Go on. Keep telling us. I love
No, no,
this. Keep telling
no,
us.
but I was very fortunate at the time, though, that they offered me a voluntary redundancy. You know,
Okay.
so I was able to take advantage of that, and within a period of like three to 4 months after me actually
Hmm.
taking that,
Hmm.
that's when my mother really deteriorated. You
Okay.
know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it was kind of like a very very good timely exit that I chose at the time,
Okay.
and then I was able to just transition into the full time caring. You know, as I was with my mother in that way there.
So more hearts. I've got to give you more hearts. My God. Honestly, this is what we need to hear. That compassion. You know.
Yeah,
That you.
yeah.
That yeah. Humaneness. We need more of this. You know. Wow, that's a lot to give up. Very firm
Mm, mm.
career. I know, highly paid. You're getting around the world. Yeah.
I would say
Wow.
reasonably paid. Reasonably paid.
Sorry, I won't put your business out there. I'm sorry. You're quite right. But you gave
Yeah.
up a solid career. You gave up a
Yes.
solid
Yeah.
career
Yeah.
for your mother, to care for your mother.
Mm,
Enough
mm.
said.
Yeah.
Enough said. And in doing so, you then gave
Mm,
up all of that activity, which I know must have been tough at the time. But I understand the love for
mm.
your mother overwhelms. It's overwhelming. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. So, what changes to your life did you have to make in order to care for your mother? You've given up the jobs, but what from a personal, because it's a lot to give up, you have to change
Mm.
your routines, I imagine. But what did you have to change in order to care for your mother now?
Right. For me, it was kind of like giving up my ego, as you
Ooh,
know, being a person who's like, I would say, motivated, self-motivated in that way.
I understand.
And then seeing the this disease or condition take over, and then
Yes.
take away the cognitive responses, the interaction and everything else. And I think the hardest thing was is that when she turns around to me and says, "Who are you?" Right? And I think that is the hardest aspect of that. You are literally a total stranger to your mother, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I went through all of that. You know who I am. Don't be silly, and you know, come on now, pull yourself together, and everything else, and then when you realize that no, this person is just living a different life now, and you literally are a every time you enter into the room, right, or every time I enter into the room, I'm a different person. And she literally be saying, "Excuse me, sir, but who are you? And what are you doing here?" And think,
Oh,
this is the type of thing. And like when you hear that and you see it, and you just have to just say, you know what, that is just a condition of what it is
yeah,
as it is
that's
right
right.
now, type of thing. So, yeah, so that I think that's the
That's
hardest
hard. That's
of
hard.
and accepting that
Mm.
this is how it is now, you know this is how it is.
I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. You said you have to remove your ego.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man,
Tell
big
us more
time.
about that. Tell us about removing the ego, because I think that's
You
going to be a
know
big
what
transition.
it is that because I one of my things is that I like to do like personal development, right? Recognizing that I can be different. I can do whatever I want to do and how to do it, but I just have to find the way how to do it. You
Yeah.
know. So and it's all part of my journey of self discovery, and realizing obviously that the advantages or disadvantages that we have been left for us, but I'm not using that as an excuse not to achieve what I would like to achieve in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? And I encourage everybody to just get out there and don't take no for an answer, and just get on
Mm-hmm.
with it.
Well said.
Because I've
Mm-hmm.
faced that all of my life of you you're not qualified enough, or you don't have the skill enough. And
Mm-hmm. That's right.
when I'm sitting there in club class, and I'm being received at the other side with a limousine service, right, in a limousine service and everything, you just think, wow, how did this happen? you know and this is why I'm in that state of like, wow, this is an amazing life that I'm living, and I've lived, and I've really embraced every moment, so far, right? And I still got another 40 or so years to go,
Yes.
on my schedule.
Well said. Yes.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. So you just embrace every moment in that way, and it's very much like with my mother now. She's 91, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even with her, because like I just measure it, just say, look, my people where we live in our family, we live to 100, 105, 110
Yes.
on a
Yes.
regular basis. So
Yes. Uh,
that's a natural thing for me.
can I just touch on your mother just for a few moments? You said that she was an educated woman. Just tell us a little bit about her. Just to
Right, yeah,
get a
she's
sense of
born,
who
born
she
in
is.
St.
Yeah.
Thomas. Yes, born in St. Thomas, Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Literally from barefoot running around in the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To she was a skilled seamstress and a craft technician,
Mm-hmm.
couture, um, uh, yeah,
Designer.
couture. What did she put it? Couture designer as well
Yes. Yes.
for the
Close
for
designer.
the
Yes.
for the main shops in like Kingston, Jamaica
Ooh.
as well. You know,
Wow. Okay.
and then she came here, and she was doing a similar thing. She did her degree in photography in Goldsmiths College there,
Mm-hmm.
and art as well, fine art as well. And she's just been living that life in that way there. That she's had been a free agent as an artist and a seamstress for most of her time, really.
Good
Yeah.
for her. Okay, she's obviously got so many wonderful qualities to have
Oh,
brought forth a son like you with this level of compassion. Hmm?
but then
Wonderful.
you know what it is as well, because of
Mm.
her nature of her being who she is, right?
Mhm.
I think that I was very fortunate that there wasn't no real constraints on me in my development, right?
Okay, yes.
I think that I exhibit that in how I live my life as well. That there's no real limits. The only limit is you say no more, really. So
Well said. Well said.
yeah.
Well said. Can I now just take you on in return to the Alzheimer and its ever
Mm,
increasing rates, it seems, in Britain. In Britain now, then.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, we're not yet sure what's causing it,
What's
apparently.
causing it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
that's for
only
sure.
if
Okay.
only we knew. If
Well,
only.
I say, I'm not say we don't know what's causing it, but
Mm.
I'm confident when I say food that is tainted with these whole range of chemicals, and we ingest those chemicals over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years,
Yes.
are
Yes.
likely to have some secondary impact upon the human physiology. Okay,
I agree.
which
I
is why
agree. I
which is
agree.
why we're very careful here at the Motivator Show to have a short segment on lifestyle messages. Okay,
Hmm.
and eating food that resemble food that we would have eaten 100 years ago, I would assert, is far better for us than these foods laden with these E numbers and chemicals to which we can barely pronounce. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not a
I
clinician. It is not authoritative, but that's what
yeah.
I'm asserting right now. That's what I'm asserting right now. But
There's
I would,
there is
okay.
there is one caveat to that as well.
Mhm.
Uh, and I've used it on many occasions recently, and
Mhm.
over the past few years actually, I've used it on many
Yeah.
occasions. I says, and we'd be talking about like different types of food and it tastes different now and everything. And I said,
Yes.
do you remember when you were young, right? That you used to get bananas out the box from Jamaica, and then they got black seeds in them,
That's right.
right?
Yes.
And then you look, and then I would look around, deliberately look around at like the younger ones, and they go, black seeds in banana. What the? And I go, yeah, yeah. And sometimes you wouldn't be able to eat those seeds because they would just be that thing.
Yeah.
But now
Mhm.
you got seedless bananas, right? You even got like virtually seedless watermelon now.
Yes, indeed. Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a seed that's a nutritious part of the watermelon.
Oh,
It's
the
full
thing
of
is that how does it
yeah.
rejuvenate? How does
Mhm.
it rejuvenate itself, and how does it regenerate itself?
There you go.
Yeah?
Okay.
So,
So
so if we're
so
taking foods what can't do that, what do you
mm.
expect? What do we
So
expect? Huh?
it's a highly likely the
Mhm.
increased onset of Alzheimer is related to our lifestyle, our nutritional
Oh,
intake.
no.
I just want to put it out there. If I've got it wrong, I invite any
How,
clinician,
how,
so-called professional in the field, to put us right.
yeah.
And you can send a message through to the Motivator Show. I'm going to put the email address on the screen. There you go. For those of you who have got a verified reasons as to why Alzheimer is on the increase, but the experts tell us it is not age is not the reason for the increase in Alzheimer. Interesting.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
if you've got
I think that's a major contributory factor towards all
there
of
you
this.
go. There you go.
Definitely.
It may be, and that's why I talk about what we eat, what we're eating, and the cumulative impact of what we're eating. Those chemicals, those E numbers over decades are likely to have some impact on the human physiology. I said that's my statement. That's why I'm asserting, which is
Mm.
why I try to avoid them like the plague these days. But if a clinician out there wish to put me right on the subject, and can present evidence that contradict that statement, here you are, the Motivator Show,
Mm.
501 at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you because we're all
Mm.
very concerned about these increasing numbers, which are increasing at an astonishing rate. And we're expecting the expert to provide sound direction as to how we can mitigate and reduce those numbers over time. Okay, all right.
Well,
So
I'm,
that's a
I'm hoping,
challenge to the profession.
I'm hoping that they will do it. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of research into how they can stem the I would say the increase of this
Of,
disease and
of
condition,
dementia in particular. Yes, yes.
but they haven't decided to find the cure.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed. Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
and as we know, that old adage of prevention is better than the cure.
Better than cure. Well said.
Right?
Well said.
Yes.
Well said. So let's take us further, Navin. So one of the reasons why I was particularly interested and wanted to interview yourself, Aston,
Mm, mm,
is that look, you and I are men of African heritage, black men, if you like. Okay. And in my travels, and I meet a few people each week, a few people in my travels, um, I I don't apparently, at least from my perspective, apparently encounter men, particularly black men, who are the main carers for
mm,
their parents or other family members. Um,
yeah.
am I right in that observation, or are you now about to put me right, the motivator, right,
Okay.
on the facts? Mhm.
I'm only gonna speak from my own experience here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Antidote is fine. It's fine.
I would say a good percentage of people that I know, right? They will come to me and say, "Oh, I've done caring, or I'm a carer," right? And when I say the men who do this, right? I would say the majority of them, the men that I know anyway, right, that they have some form of interaction with caring for either their family or a family member, right?
Mm,
Or they know of somebody who's in need of care
all
in
right.
that way, right? Now, for those who are in my position as being the main carers,
Mhm.
I feel that there are less men who are main carers, right? But there is still a large percentage of them of who are out there, and I
What
think there's
about
a lot
what
higher
40,
than
what
what you think.
30%, 40, 30%, 40%?
I
What would you say?
I would say round about overall about 20% of the care those who are registered carers,
Are
right?
are, are black men, men of African heritage?
Ye- yes,
Wow.
yes. And
Okay.
the reason why I say this is it's either their partners or their parents, right?
Okay. Understood. Yes.
And they're not told that they are carers, or they haven't like registered themselves,
Ah, right.
or they're highlighting it, you know. Mainly mainly I think it's like the old school of men do for men do. Yeah. So
Indeed.
you don't get the notarization of
Mm.
of what they are doing, and this is like what we do. Yeah.
Okay. We
Right.
just get on with it. In other words,
So
men are just
so
getting on with it. Yes.
when I emphasize carers like myself as a registered carer now,
Mm.
right? I feel that there would be less, but there are many more who are doing what they need to do, yeah, or what they can do.
Okay. If I were to take, for example, you said you lead the Black Fathers group. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Within your Black Fathers group, I know it's there for
Oh,
particular reasons.
wow.
Yeah. Of what of those in your Black Fathers group would you
A
say
good,
are
a good
carers?
percent, a good percentage, because once you get to hear of their backstory, or their life story and what they've
Yes.
going through and what they're actually, you be very surprised. Children who are disabled, that they're
Hmm.
looking for and supporting, right? What
Okay.
they,
Yes.
or in the family, right? Their parents. I think the majority of those who have been like core members of the fathers group, I think each and every one of them is caring for their parents or a close relative in some form or another, right?
Right.
Also those who are not registered as carers are exhibiting the same thing. That's why I say I speak from my own experience here, you know. So
Is it that they are not aware that they can, in fact, be registered and receive some support from the council, or did they choose not to be registered?
pride, pride is a big thing. Pride is a big thing.
Ah, okay.
Pride is.
Ah. Why would
Um,
pride come into it, though?
Say again.
Why would pride come into it? Do you think?
Right. Again, I'm going to speak from my own perspective here.
Of course, yes.
Um, being in the position that I was, right, financially, socially, economically, sorry,
Hmm.
that I didn't see a reason for me to actually reach out for any assistance for
I
quite
see.
a while.
Yes.
For
Okay.
quite a while, right? I went through the ritual mainly for documentations, right, to register and everything else for documentation purpose. To see that there was any other beneficials of that, I didn't really look into it.
Okay.
I didn't look
Right.
into it.
I
And that's the
understand.
only time that you would find that I probably would have like come up on into the radar of being a carer outside of my own household in that way. Yeah, I feel that
Okay.
in many ways that is the same thing with a lot of like men,
Right.
that
Good.
they would literally do it and don't want any acknowledgement
Okay.
for that.
Okay. That makes sense. No, that makes some sense. That makes some sense. I think I get it. After
Yeah,
it's your parents, after all, and caring for your parents is it's just
yeah,
a must. Okay, it's a
yeah,
must, and I get that.
yeah.
I get that. But you describe you've given up a great deal, it's changing your
Mm,
life. Okay, and you emphasize you've got to take out your ego so you can set aside your ego so you can be devoted, and I get
mm.
that as well. Okay, um, what could society do better to support carers like yourself? What should change to give so it's less stressful for you?
Look, there are moves there are moves to give support. There are moves to give support.
Yes. But this government,
As a
yes, this government.
as a carer, I'm gonna deal with us as a carer just briefly. Us as a carer, again, get your ego out the way. Look, seek, educate yourself on being a carer and what is available to you. Unfortunately, and rightly as you asked there, the usual support systems, i.e., the government, local authorities,
Mhm.
is absolutely insufficient.
What do you
But
mean? What do you mean? Hmm.
in other words, when I initially registered as a carer, I
Hmm.
expected I expected even just for the basics, first aid, self care,
Oh, right.
awareness of being a carer, right? Most of my information has been done by these charitable organizations,
Right.
right? Or
Hmm.
most of the support information has been given to me through that as well, right?
Okay. Through
Just a moment.
charities.
Reach out to these organizations, glean the information, but also remember that a lot of it is relying on you to be active to do these things as well,
Hmm.
right? Also, if you can align yourself with local support groups.
Ah, perfect. Yes. Uh-huh.
And the reason why I say that, because just like when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I would say to them, I said, what you want to speak about? And they would look at me and they go, what? I got just tell me, just speak. I got it's me and you. Let's just talk. And just to open the avenue of, wow, this is happening, that is happening, boy, financially, this is going on,
Mm.
that is going
Hmm.
on, that's all. And you'll be surprised before you know it, an hour without me even drawing breath
Yes.
has gone by,
Yes. Yes.
right?
So that's
This is why I
support. That's
say
support. Right.
reach
Hmm.
out for those support
Hmm.
places, right?
Hmm.
Utilize them, right? Get their number in your phone so that you can reach out to them, right? And there's no, and I would say again, there's no stupid questions,
Hmm.
yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. Like when you're there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? There is a line that you can call,
Okay.
right?
Good. Yes. Good.
And I have to touch on this as well, right? Men, men, we have buttons, and buttons will be pressed,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
Buttons will be
Hmm.
pressed. And sometimes if we don't check those buttons are permanently pressed and you change.
Yes.
And we have to learn how to get that in check as well.
Right.
All right. I
Okay.
don't want to
So
emphasize too much, but those who know what I'm talking about here.
absolutely, and I completely understand. And just be clear then. So the majority of support you've received is from charitable organisation and
Yes,
not from
yes.
the local authority. But what
No.
what support would you specifically want the local authority, not
Oh
those local
wow.
government agencies,
Finan- Hey, financially to pay us a minimum wage.
Oh,
If if they
minimum wage.
if
Okay.
they paid us, even if they paid us at minimum wage level, right? That would be such a tremendous boost to every registered carer because
But
you only can have
when you
one
say that,
you only can have one per person. You only can have one registered person
yes,
to a person of
right.
who needs this. So it's not like, oh, the whole family. It's one person,
Hmm.
right?
So if you were paid a minimum wage to be the full-time or indeed registered carer, um, are you saying that the current financial system, universal credit and so on, isn't isn't enough
£333 per month.
per month? Oh, right. Really? Oh, okay. No, that I didn't know, I must say. I need to do some more research. I didn't realize. Oh my dear. It would definitely cost the NHS far more if they had to give the support you're giving to your mother.
Exactly,
Much,
exactly,
much, much more. Yes. Oh wow.
exactly.
Okay.
And all the time that I've been doing, I'm thinking, why is this not been made an issue of discussion on the floor?
Okay.
Why?
Well, Aston, now you've raised it here on the Motivator Show. We
Mhm,
have some links. Okay, you never know. Um, I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised at the
mhm,
figures you just quoted. Uh,
mhm.
it's a ridiculously low figure compared to the expenditure
Even
the NHS would make
even
if
if
it
I'm,
had to.
let me just say, even if I'm unemployed,
Hmm,
I would receive more money if I was unemployed.
oh wow! I'm genuinely shocked to hear that, and I believe that we need to delve into that even greater detail to understand how we got ourselves into that situation as a society. I know the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has been, she did something I think was incredible, that is to take 500,000 children out of poverty
Hmm.
by raising, by eliminating putting in place a number of important support systems for
Hmm.
parents with children and removing the two child cap on terms of financial support. So
Absolutely necessary,
it's
which was absolutely
absolutely
necessary.
necessary. Because crazy, wasn't it? Completely crazy. But what you're describing, if you're a full-time carer, the financial support from the government per month will be 300 or so pounds. My gosh, as I said, I'm blinking, I'm processing, but I need to.
Exactly,
Okay, I've got
exactly.
that one. What else could the
Now,
local authority do? Oh,
and
hmm.
the thing, and to put a little bit piece onto that, another caveat onto that. Imagine all those who do not have a financial support outside of their full-time caring, and that is exactly all they get.
Wow. I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine. I need to delve into this further. But I just want to just keep us moving
Yeah, yeah,
forward,
yeah, of
though,
course.
in terms of support. So,
Mm.
financial support. What else? What additional support do you believe
I
specifically
really,
the
I
local
really do
authority could
believe,
provide?
I really do believe that there should be some form of certified education process, right? And a
Mm,
regular update, right, for those who are like full-time carers, right? Even if it's like
hmm.
like attend and receive information as to their well-being and assessment of their well-being as well. Definitely,
Well said.
definitely.
Yes, that makes perfect sense to me. That's a second specific role for local authority. But give you, is there a third one you'd like to see the local authority
Yes,
specifically?
that
Mhm.
that that along with that assessment, right? That there should be a category of capability of being a carer as well, because there are many who are not uh, capable of being a carer themselves, mainly because they need caring, right?
Mm,
And those who are cognitively not capable of actually caring for others as well, i.e.,
mm.
children.
Ah, oh, explain.
Children, there are young children who are at school and they are going home and being carers for their parents as
Oh,
well, right?
any
That
idea of numbers? Any idea of numbers? You think?
no. But
Okay.
that has been an issue for many, many, many years
I shall look into
within
that. Yeah. Okay.
children
Okay.
who are carers for their parents.
Okay. Okay, those are three important observations. One, a minimum wage for full-time carers. Two,
Hmm.
a certification, so that which keeps you updated on the role of carers, both
Hmm.
operationally and legally, and also an assessment of what the needs of the carer,
Hmm.
because this is like a full-time job. In fact, forgive me, a
It
24
is.
hour job. Forgive me, a 24-hour job. Okay, right? I say full time, 24-hour job.
Mm.
That's duty beyond the call.
Oh,
So
well,
yes, you're
way,
way
way
beyond,
beyond.
and
Yeah.
therefore your needs we need to take into account. And
Hmm.
clearly, whatever you're receiving financially is far
Hmm.
less than what the NHS will be liable for if it had to
Yes,
take care of your mother directly. And then the
sir.
last element, I think, an important one, um,
Respite.
assessing. I cannot respite, but you just mentioned the children. Um,
Yes.
we need to look at the number of children who are effectively
Care.
the carers for their parents because their parents got disability or whatever, and we need to assess whether or not there is the appropriate duty of care to those children have been fully
Mhm.
executed by the local authority, and I believe there's a legal obligation for them to do that right now. But that's
Yeah.
interesting. The last one, the fourth one you just mentioned, and an important word. You said used the term respite. I said assessment of your need. But tell us about
Mm.
respite. Why is respite
Okay. Then.
important for carers?
Oh man. Let's say, okay then. You can't keep going 24/7, right? You will be exhausted. You will
Yeah.
be exhausted because it's that being attentive to somebody's um, well-being. You just never switch off, right? Um, Many a time you probably be there and you're supposedly sleeping, but you're not.
Mm,
You're not completely switched off in that way. There, it's like, and this is my comparison to it. It's like when you have a newborn, and that child would even just turn over, and you would jump up to just
yes,
see what's
that's
going
right.
on. And imagine now you're in that state, right? Or like a new mother who's in that state, right? Of, oh, what's happening? Imagine you being like that continuously,
Hmm.
months, years,
Yes,
decades, even, right?
yes,
Continuous and not having a break, right? We do need a proper break, and I think that the minimum that you should have is at least to have that 24-hour break, even a month, right?
mm,
And even over, if it's like a respite away from the family or the person that you're caring, at least 2 weeks, 2 weeks, even a year,
yeah,
right?
yes.
Because
Uh,
there's some of us, like myself included, who haven't had that for many years now,
oh
many
wow.
years. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I think in my case, I think it's about 8 years now that I haven't
Eight
had
years.
that. Yeah, yeah. I haven't had that period of where I can just go and do for what I need. Yeah,
I made
yeah.
a note
So
of that, and I believe a number of officials may well see this video.
okay.
I'd like to think they will reach out to you. I'd like to
I,
think
w-
they
I
will
would
reach out
I
to
would
you.
say, please, if anybody is actually listening to this and to consider to put something in place, right? That it's a national issue,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And even for those who are carers out there, to bring it into conversation now,
yes,
because I'm
yes.
sure I'm sure there are others out there who could make a very active and effective campaign towards this, and I think that
Mm.
it needs to be brought to the attention of those who can do something about it right now. You know.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you. You are articulating on behalf of carers across the nation. This has
Mm.
been very well said. Very well said. Can I now just move to this sort of national profile and so on? Okay, and of course the campaign. Okay, I'm going to pause there on that interview. Uh, it was an information-rich experience. You can see Aston had been supporting his mother, lovingly supporting his mother, but his depth of knowledge on the subject is really quite remarkable. Uh, now, the rest of that interview will be shown later on the Motivator channel. It will be split into about 5 parts of about 20 minutes or so, just so you understand. It is information rich. If you are a carer, it provides significant amount of useful advice. If you are a policymaker, I want to receive first-hand account of what carers think about the support, the services you provide. It provides honest feedback. Okay, and of course, if you are someone whose parent or loved one or someone close to you who you think needs care, he would explain how you can obtain that care and support for your loved one. But Alzheimer is clearly a clear and present danger to communities across the board, and most certainly a danger to people of African heritage because of the specific lifestyle decisions that we make and foods which are impacting upon our health and well-being. It is a further discussion. You notice I made the assertion, and I believe I'm correct, but I look forward to clinicians and professionals otherwise who suggest otherwise, that the food we're eating is a significant contributor. Okay. And most certainly our lifestyle is a significant contributor. You know, Alzheimer is specifically related to co-conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes, okay, respiratory and cancers. It's likelihood, therefore, that Alzheimer will be one of those co-conditions. In other words. And you know here, we've been highlighting the prevalence of diabetes, hypertension, obesity within the communities. But this is one of the consequence of those conditions being allowed to being set in the communities. Okay. Why here on the Motivator Show we devote a few minutes to lifestyle messages, encouraging viewers and listeners to think about their lifestyle as a contributory factor to your general health and well-being. Okay. But Aston has provided such rich information for us all. I learned a great deal from him. Thank you, Aston. Thank you so much. You notice those hearts as he described why he is a carer, despite having a very solid career. He gave up his career to give back to his mother, who sacrificed so much for him, who taught him so much, who gave him so much. He wanted to reciprocate. And those hearts were truly meant for him and his family, the love that his mother has shown him. He's learned from that love and learned how to give it back. Oh my God, that's good parenting, huh? That is good parenting. Excellent, outstanding parenting. Absolutely. I wish I'd known his mother prior to the onset of Alzheimer's, so I could have a direct comparison. But by all accounts, she was yet another remarkable human being, full of compassion, intelligent, full of compassion, just like my guest in my last podcast, wasn't she? Yeah? Ikechi Kano, huh? Wasn't she outstanding? Oh my God, outstanding parents. Can outstanding parents have outstanding children who make positive contribution to society? Well done, Aston. Well done. They say that podcast will be published in around 6 hours' time. Come back to the come back to the channel. You'll see it there waiting for you to view the rest of that interview. As you can see, with information rich, good guidance, and I've got to say, it was truly an enjoyable experience. Forgive me, an inspirational experience. It is true, Alzheimer is real. I know there are some people, some residents, some listeners, some viewers who are hesitant to discuss the subject because they're hesitant because they believe they may be on the cusp or because it has an emotional impact. And I get that. I get that. We must discuss it. We must discuss how to support those with that condition, or indeed, we always consider preventative measures as well. You know, we must support them. Okay, and those who are supporting someone with Alzheimer's or similar conditions, we've got to give them support, respite. Note what he said: respite. He hadn't had a break for years, 8 years. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? 8 years, he's not had a break. Oh my gosh. That love is deep and it is thorough. It is, oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It was a great privilege to be with him, to listen to his story, for him to share his knowledge. And for that knowledge, I hope to help you and others here. But certainly, I hope that the policymakers have heard some of his words. The idea that if you're a carer, the financial support is £333 per month or thereabouts. I laugh because I want to be angry. So my laugh is to avoid my expressing anger here. Because that is truly, well, beyond the pale. That's beyond the pale. That's beyond the pale. That's beyond the pale. The NHS most certainly would spend far more caring for his mother if he was unable to do so himself. Much, 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 much more. Much, much more. It is anyway. We need to address this issue. It will not go away. We will return to it. We will speak to others who are involved in treating people with Alzheimer's. We'll get the clinicians in next time round, just so that we can better understand this particular condition and how we can potentially avoid it for ourselves. You know, I'm very mindful that those around me, increased the numbers of people I'm aware are increasingly showing signs of dementia. I can't diagnose them if it's Alzheimer, but certainly I'm aware of the condition within my immediate circles. Um, I'm just now even heightened. My attention is heightened by virtue of this interview with Aston, and I want to thank him from the top of my heart for the knowledge shared and keep and the love he displayed for his mother. Hmm. That's what we need in the community. That love. That's all we need is love. Yeah. Not war. We need more love. I'm going to play only a short part of the intro video for you before we leave, because it is designed to be impactful. It's the intro video. It is intended to be impactful, to ensure your attention, its focus, because this is one of those subjects we are not discussing enough, but it is a clear and present danger. We must guard against it, and that in order to do so, we must raise awareness. And raising awareness means that you are alert. So when you make those individual decisions for yourself, remember, you're not simply making it for yourself, you're making it for all those around you who potentially will have to support you. Mhm. These are the important lessons. We are all interconnected. Wow. Well, I've got to say, that was an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. That was to say the least. But please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel. It tells the YouTube algorithm that the content of applying here is worthwhile, meaningful, and it's been useful. And YouTube will therefore recommend it to others across the world. It will help us out a great deal. Okay, and of course, if you can leave a comment, leave a comment. We'd love to see your comments. Okay, and we may put a number of those comments on screen. Okay, or at the very least, give us a thumbs up, an acknowledgement that the content that you experienced today was content that met your need. At least was an acknowledgement that this is an issue. There's a digital hands up. That's an acknowledgement that the content was worthwhile and relevant. So I remain, until the next time, the motivator.
Alzheimer in Britain's African heritage communities. The Alzheimer explosion. It's real! 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 In 2026, research continues to show that people of African and African Caribbean heritage in Britain face a significantly higher risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia, compared to the white UK population. People of African Caribbean heritage are estimated to be up to 3 times more likely to develop dementia compared to the general population. Individuals from these communities are often diagnosed at a younger age, frequently between 4.5 to 8 years earlier than the general population. While dementia cases in the general population are expected to double by 2051, cases in the Black, African and Caribbean communities are projected to increase 7-fold by 2051. There could be 45 times as many cases among Black Africans compared to 2001 levels. The higher prevalence of hypertension or high blood pressure, diabetes, strokes and cardiovascular disease in Black communities, African communities, contribute heavily to the higher risk of vascular dementia. To reduce dementia risk, focus on a brain-healthy lifestyle. Stay physically and mentally active. Eat a balanced diet, rich in plants, low in saturated fat and sugars. Manage conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. Protect your head. Limit alcohol. Quit smoking and stay socially engaged. Prioritizing heart health, sleep, and addressing hearing and vision loss also significantly helps to lower your risk of dementia. Exercise regularly. Aim for 150 minutes a week of moderate activity, brisk walking and cycling, plus strength and balance exercises twice weekly to improve heart health and weight. Stay mentally active. Challenge your brain with puzzles, learning new skills, reading or hobbies. Be social. Maintain strong social connections and engage in group activities to build cognitive reserve. Get quality sleep. Prioritize deep sleep for brain health and memory consolidation. Eat healthy. Focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Limit saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Protect your head. Wear helmet during sports and take precautions to avoid concussions. Limit alcohol. Stick to recommended guidelines under 40 units per week and have alcohol 3 days. Quit smoking. Smoking increases dementia risk, especially Alzheimer and vascular dementia. The power is in your hands.